We're all familiar with the names Hippocrates, Galen, Lister, Curie, titans of medicine whose legacies echo through the ages. But what if I told you the true father or mother of medicine lived long before written history, before cities, before farming, perhaps even before language as we know it? Someone who practiced healing not in grand hospitals, but in the echoing silence of an ancient cave, or beneath a sky lit by unfamiliar constellations. Forget everything you think you know about the origins of medicine. The story isn't one of sterile operating rooms and precise diagnoses. It's a primal, visceral saga of survival, compassion, and the fundamental human drive to alleviate suffering. The question isn't who was Earth's first doctor, but what defines a doctor when the world itself was a wilderness, and every injury could mean the end? Imagine our earliest ancestors, a brutal existence, constant threats from predators, the elements, and each other. Life was short, violent, and riddled with disease and injury. A broken leg meant certain death. An infected wound, a swift, agonizing end. You'd think in such a harsh world, there'd be no room for care, for healing, beyond the basic instinct of protecting offspring. Survival of the fittest, pure and simple. But what if that assumption is fundamentally wrong? What if, embedded in our very DNA, is a capacity for empathy and healing that predates civilization itself? The first hints of medicine weren't found in ancient texts or grand temples, but etched into the very bones of our distant relatives. These silent witnesses tell a story far more profound than we ever imagined. Archaeologists and paleopathologists, the detectives of ancient diseases, have unearthed countless skeletal remains showing evidence of severe trauma, broken limbs, dislocated joints, even cranial fractures. And crucially, many of these injuries show clear signs of healing. Not perfect healing, perhaps, but enough for the individual to have survived for months, even years afterwards. Consider the famous Old Man of Shanidar Cave in Iraq, a Neanderthal individual who lived around 45,000 years ago. He suffered multiple devastating injuries: a crushed orbit, partial blindness, a withered arm, and severe arthritis. Injuries so debilitating, he would have been completely unable to hunt or even feed himself. Yet, he lived for years, deep into old age for his time. How? The only logical conclusion is that his community cared for him, fed him, protected him. This wasn't just survival. This was compassion, active care, the very bedrock of medicine. This isn't an isolated case. From Homo erectus to early Homo sapiens, evidence of care for the sick and injured is surprisingly abundant. It suggests that from our very beginnings, we were not just solitary survivors, but social beings who understood the value of collective well-being. But while assisting a weakened member is a form of care, is it medicine? Does it qualify as having a doctor? For thousands of millennia, healing was intrinsically linked with the spiritual. Disease wasn't just a physical ailment. It was often seen as a curse, an evil spirit, or a cosmic imbalance. And who better to address such profound issues than the individual who could bridge worlds, commune with spirits, and interpret the will of the gods? The shaman. This brings us to one of the most astonishing and ancient surgical procedures ever discovered: trepanation, the deliberate drilling or scraping of a hole into the human skull. Evidence of trepanation dates back over 10,000 years, found in ancient Peru, Neolithic Europe, and across the globe. Some skulls show multiple holes, and incredibly, many show clear signs of healing, meaning the patient survived the procedure. Why would anyone undergo such a brutal, high-risk operation without anesthesia? It was likely performed for a variety of reasons: to relieve pressure from head injuries, to treat epilepsy, chronic headaches, or even to expel evil spirits. But who possessed the courage, the skill, and the anatomical knowledge to perform such a delicate, dangerous surgery? This wasn't random. This pointed to specialized individuals. These early practitioners, whether they were shamans, elders, or wise women, possessed an invaluable understanding of their natural world. They observed the effects of plants on animals, experimented likely through trial and error with various herbs, berries, and barks. They understood basic anatomy from hunting and butchering. They developed rudimentary splints from branches, bandages from leaves and animal hides, and perhaps even early forms of antiseptic from plant extracts. Consider the 12,000-year-old burial site at Hilazon Taktit in Israel. Here, archaeologists discovered the grave of an elderly woman, laid to rest with over 50 tortoiseshells, a human foot, and other symbolic grave goods. She was buried in a unique, ritualistic way, suggesting she held a deeply significant role in her Natufian community. Scholars believe this woman was a shaman, a ritual specialist, a healer. She wasn't just a community member, she was someone whose knowledge and connection to the spiritual and natural world set her apart. This gradual specialization, This recognition of unique skill in healing eventually paved the way for the first truly named physicians, and for that, we journey to ancient Egypt, over 4,500 years ago. Here, an extraordinary figure emerged whose name would echo through history as the first physician, architect, and vizier. His name was Imhotep. During the reign of Pharaoh Djoser in the Old Kingdom, Imhotep was a polymath, a genius who excelled in multiple fields. He is credited with designing the world's first stone building, the Step Pyramid at Saqqara, but his medical prowess was equally legendary. Though no medical texts are directly attributed to him, his reputation was so immense that he was later deified as a god of medicine and healing, revered for centuries by Greeks and Egyptians alike. The medical knowledge of ancient Egypt, much of which likely stemmed from traditions perfected by individuals like Imhotep, is astonishingly advanced. The Edwin Smith Papyrus, dating to around 1600 BCE but believed to be a copy of much older texts, details anatomical observations, diagnoses, prognoses, and treatments for 48 types of injuries, many surgical. It describes setting fractures, treating wounds, and even early neurosurgery, with a surprisingly rational approach, often distinguishing between treatable and untreatable conditions. This wasn't just magic, it was astute observation and practical skill, centuries ahead of its time. So, who was Earth's first doctor? Was it the compassionate Neanderthal who splinted a broken limb? The brave shaman who drilled into a skull to cure a perceived illness? Or the brilliant Imhotep whose name became synonymous with healing? The truth is, it's all of them, and none of them. The impulse to heal, to alleviate suffering, is not a modern invention. It is an ancient, fundamental thread woven into the very fabric of our humanity. From the first careful hand laid upon a fevered brow in a prehistoric cave to the complex surgical robots of today, the spirit of medicine has been evolving, adapting, and enduring. It's a continuous, unbroken chain of knowledge, empathy, and innovation, stretching back to a time before recorded history. The first doctor wasn't a single person, but the collective embodiment of humanity's earliest attempts to understand and conquer disease. It was the birth of compassion, observation, and the courageous effort to defy the brutal odds of nature. And it reminds us that, at our core, the desire to heal, to care for one another, is perhaps one of our oldest and most defining human traits. What does this long, unbroken chain of healers, stretching back to our earliest ancestors, tell us about the fundamental human desire to care for one another? Do you think the very act of seeking to heal is what makes us truly human? Let us know in the comments below.